I'm back. How are you? Back from the Viva Fresh, and want to talk about a couple more takeaways. Again, I have to reiterate, it was a great show. I have great expectations for next year and for all the shows going forward. I think people have been pent up too long, and I think the excitement is going to follow through on the coming shows. Today, I want to talk about skin in the game. And this is an observation I made. I could be wrong on my observation, but again, it's my observation. And this is not disparaging anyone. I just believe to facilitate better, whether it would be healthcare or your life, you have to have skin in the game. So where am I going with this? Any show, well, excuse me, many shows, we coddle to retail. Why do we coddle to retail? Because retail is our industry. Consumers drive our industry. They are the biggest source of consumption for our products. So why not coddle to retail? Here's my takeaway. I noticed, and this is not for my own. This is not because of me. Here's what I noticed at Viva Fresh. I saw, first let me say this. At most shows, retail pretty much goes for free. At some shows, they even actually pay for their hotel and their plane tickets. So that's the preface. But what I noticed at some of these shows, it seems to me that whoever had a retail badge on pretty much went where they always went. So I saw them with the same people. I saw them at different shows. I didn't see many of them walking the show, and I was there from beginning to end. Again, this is my own observation. Yes, I could have missed them, but I don't think they were. I don't think they spent their whole time at the show. Again, I could be wrong, but the point is, skin in the game. So if retailers had to pay for the show, like the people that set up the booths have to pay for the shows, I paid for the show, for my tickets. So if retailers had to maybe get a discount, but buy their tickets to the show, fly themselves to the show, pay the hotel for the show, and the company that sent them had to pay for this, I would think that they would expect some kind of feedback when they came back, right? So like, who did you go see? Did you get a deal? What I noticed, again, this is not for me. I don't expect a big retailer to come up to me. The trend has been to go direct to the farmer. I also said many times that no matter how many retailers say, "Oh, we don't do business with people like you." Well, I've covered all of your loads at one time or another, but they're going to the same old people. So I would, as if I was at the show and I was a vendor, and the retailers just passed me by and just went to wherever they've been going. They didn't search out new opportunities. They didn't search out new vendors. They just did, we always did it this way, and we're going to continue to do this way. So if the retailer has skin in the game, there's two outcomes, right? They pay for the stuff, they pay for their tickets, they pay for the show, and they go and they find new vendors, new items, right? That's what the produce business is all about, right? Or they don't come, right? If they don't come, then there's really no need to pay for them all these years. And if they do come, I think with skin in the game, they start searching out new opportunities because their bosses are going to demand it, right? They're going to look for new avenues. So that's just my takeaway. That's not disparaging retail. Listen, if I could get it for free, I would love to get it for free too. But I'm just making a point. My whole point, I told you, for going forward is not disparaging anyone. Is just to make it better. So in making it better, I've been giving a lot of thought to the produce business over the last 20 or 30 years. And I can remember, when the generation of growers that were my age or a little older, what did they do? They sent all their sons off to college and great business schools, right? And when they came back, uh, they didn't like the way their fathers did business, right? So they were looking for a better way to work smarter, not harder. And that's where really contract pricing came in. And it was also the same time that their friends in the United States and let's say in retail said, you know what, this stuff with the price going up and down, this is not how business works, and we want fixed costs. So they kind of like merged those two ideas together, and they try to, for lack of a better word, they try to automate the produce business, right? They try to just make it easier, and at every level they try to make it easier, down to the store level where you have that box in, box out, right? You got rid of all the produce managers, and you wanted to make it dummy proof. So it's you got an RPC box, that one's empty. You take that out, you put this RPC, and you replace it, and it really doesn't work. It really doesn't work in the produce business. And I've given you an example in the past, like another thing is going direct to the farmer and cutting out everyone. Now that's a great concept. I'll agree, that's a great concept. It's a great concept when everything is going right. When everything's going right and your supplier has everything for you, right? Life is wonderful. The price is fixed, the volume is fixed, everybody's happy. But this is the produce business. And the produce business, it doesn't last perfect forever. And that's when other people come into play. That's when your whole deck of house of cards falls upon itself. Why? Because that supplier that's been taking care of you gets hit, for some act of God, whether a freeze, or frost, a hurricane, for whatever reason, and doesn't have your product. Now you have to search out other sources. And I spoke about this too. The same thing, we'll go back with contract pricing. Contract pricing is great. It's great when it's your way. So if the market's 20 and your contract's 12, you're very happy. Chances are you're probably selling that product too cheap based on your competition because they may be 20 and you're 12. And then as soon as the market goes to 8 and you're paying 12, then it's no good for you anymore. And one thing about the produce business is when the market is 20, that means there's a lot less volume than when the market's 8. So at 8, the farmer needs to sell more product at a time when you are overpriced compared to your competition. Okay? So you have to take less problem. You can't even sell the stuff you have on contract. Why? Because everybody's less than you and the shoppers go somewhere else. You were too cheap in a market that was high, and you're too expensive in a market that's cheap. That's why it doesn't work. My suggestion, 30 to 50% of your volume, your weekly volume on a contract. I would say the lower end, 30%. I would even go one step further, not to have a price contract, maybe have a range contract and a volume contract. So for instance, I use 10 loads a week. I'm going to take 4 loads a week on contract, whatever the price. The price could be between $8 and $20. Okay, so that to me is a better situation for the grower, for the retailer, and for the consumer. And isn't that what we all want? We are right now in unprecedented volume in many, many items. We have red peppers that are $3 FOB on a $15 box. We have big box peppers that are $5 FOB, and large national chains are selling stuff for $1.99 a pound. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is when we need national chains to step up and really suck all this volume up and give it to consumers. You have an opportunity now to charge prices well below what your normal sale prices are and actually make probably more margin than you've made. Why don't you take advantage of this? Forget about those 3-week out ads, suck up this volume, help the grower, help the consumer, and we all live by it. Demand is way, way off, and I've been telling you, I've been telling you since January 1st that demand was going to be way off. You have people out of work. You have the people out of work that need the box program, getting free food, and I believe it, they need it. So you have a lot of customers that even can't afford food, and there are a lot of that are hurting. So giving them good value now really helps the situation. What leads me to the next topic. Ellen DeGeneres, I used to love watching her show, and then everybody found out, she's not as nice a person as she sounds like on television, and she lost 1 million viewers in one day. And it made me think, when I lived in New Jersey, there was a very, very good supermarket chain, and they had the banners of all the local growers, most of them in New Jersey. And I knew many of the farmers because we did business with them. And then there was one major multinational importer with their banner up as a local farmer, which, part of my French, was bullshit. So my question is, when you tell your story, be very cognizant that one day the truth may come out about your story, so you better be telling the truth. I'm not saying it about this company. A lot of companies, not only in produce, like to tell a story to make you feel good, but really they're only what's the right word? I'm looking for a word. The only reason they're doing it is to drive more sales, the feel good story. I like to think that there are companies out there that actually do what they say what they do, mean what they say. So that's just something to think about. So if you're telling a bullshit story, I think you better stop telling it. And part of that story may be that you're not as civic minded as you set out to be. Again, that's not calling out anyone. That's just the thing. Now I want to tell you something else. I have told you I had a lot of ideas on my head. Anybody? Nate, the produce champion. Sometimes a simple idea, even for someone like me that's been in my produce business the whole life, and you miss it. I'm going to tell you what Nate a few weeks ago did a thing about avocados. Now, I buy my avocados a lot of times at Costco. I get 5 or 6 avocados a bag, and usually by the time I get to the end, my 2 or 3 avocados are black because I don't eat them right away. So Nate's, again, I probably bought more avocados in a week than many retailers sell all year, okay? So I know about avocados. So Nate says, when it's ripe, put it in the refrigerator. Now, I know something like that, but I just totally missed it. So for the last 4 weeks, I've been eating every avocado that I bought at Costco. Why? Because as it gets ripe, I take it, I put it in the refrigerator. So here's something that's simple and obvious, sometimes gets missed. You could read into that, because yes, that's, something that's simple and obvious and sometimes get missed, and even an old dog can learn new tricks. And that goes across our whole industry. What else did I want to tell you? That was it. Oh, I just did a purge of my trucking list. I'm looking for good trucking companies and exceptional truck brokers to add to my distribution list. Right now I'm loading out of McAllen and Nogales. Come June till January, I load heavily out of California, up and down the coast. So if you're remember my motto: we pay fast, but we don't pay too much. All right, so and I'm an old school produce guy. So if we have a problem at 2:00 in the morning, you're going to be up with me. So make sure you know all these things before you get involved. Okay, let's talk about some markets, because I think I've been slipping lately and I haven't been telling you about all these markets. Red peppers, I told you. It's their fault. It's the grower's fault. They planted double with half the volume, and now they're paying the price as they are with many other items. So again, national retail chains. Be like HEB. HEB, I got to tell you, I love my HEB. HEB knows how to sell produce. When they get a deal, they just pass it right along. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, they're only in Texas, or I think there's a couple in Oklahoma and stuff. So we get the benefit of my HEB, but and it's usually in the top 5 or 10 best chains of the country year after year. So maybe the rest of you, the national chains, maybe should learn something from HEB. Okay, cucumbers are a little short. They're going to start ramping up a little volume in Hermosillo now. We're back into northern Mexico. So on the short term, you're going to have a tight market, but in a longer term, we're going to have more supplies hitting probably towards the end of the week and then into next week. Squash hasn't been on that downward trend. All the summer squash has been on that downward trend, so I think that can continue. Again, we just need we need to push consumption because the supplies are there. Roma tomatoes, we're pushed off the minimum. My personal opinion, I think we're pushed off the minimum for the just for the Easter pull. The Easter pull is over, and it's not even a holiday anymore. So, excuse me. When I say it's not a holiday anymore, I'm talking about consumption-wise. I think that thing has. I think a thing could go back to the minimum. Eggplant, same thing. Lent is over. It's a little weak in the knees. Got good weather in Florida. You got good volume here, so I don't see too much hope for that item either. Hard squashes have been cheap. Kabocha, same thing. Moving back to Hermosillo, a little bit more available today. I expect in the coming days there to be more and more, and for that market to get off its highs and get that back to a more reasonable and sustainable level. I've been doing kabocha squash for a long, long time and never saw prices like this before. So that's it from me this week. You want to see my T-shirt? Hot yoga. Yeah, I used to do hot yoga. It's very hot, especially in Texas. Because you imagine hot yoga when it's 120 degrees outside, it gets a little hot. Okay. I talked to Brent Everhart and Shay Myers, and we're gonna keep on trying to beat this this clubhouse thing. We're gonna try to get you guys involved. Let's have conversations. Again, let's just have a conversation and hash it out and find out what's better for the produce industry as a whole. That's all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to SCPC. I'll find out what the next convention is. I'm going to start traveling again because my wife made me this beautiful mask that stays away from my mouth, and I could talk, and it feels great. Flying was not a problem, so I expect to be in Florida soon, and I expect to be in New York soon. So, love you, love the produce business. Take care. We'll see you on Sunday.